So the Philadelphia 76ers went against the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight, and they looked absolutely amazing. And I think they could honestly make a really deep playoff push with what they have right now, especially in the starting five with obviously Joel Embiid and James Harden. So we're going to go over the box score, talking about the team and overall where they're going to be going in the future, because as of right now, I mean, they're looking like one of the more scariest teams in the East as of right now. So what's up? I'm JDC. If you like the video, drop a like down below, press the sub button. I'd appreciate it. We got a Sixers video today. James Harden, obviously, first game as a Philadelphia 76ers. So we're going to be talking about his debut and overall the Sixers and where they're going to be moving on. So getting into the video, I think we'll start it off with Joel Embiid in the box score. So Embiid in just 31 minutes scored 34 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. Embiid tonight, absolutely amazing, against Karl Anthony Towns, who isn't really known to play defense. He pretty much killed him in the paint, and his three-point shooting was pretty great today, 3 of 5, and went 10 of 18 from the field. So this is pretty much what I expected from Joel Embiid, with James Harden there, because now they have another player that has greater gravity than Joel Embiid does. And another player has that much gravity in James Harden. It brings in, more defenders to him, which pretty much leaves another man open. And tonight, Joel Embiid got a lot of shots today. And honestly, it was a really great game from Joel. If they can keep this up, Joel Embiid and James Harden, then they're going to be a really great team in the next few games. So Tobias Harris in 32 minutes scored 28 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 steals. Tobias Harris, absolutely great game from Maxey today. And honestly, I didn't really think Maxey was going to be this good. I think this is his second year. Yeah. So sophomore year, he's been absolutely great for the Sixers team, averaging around 17 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. He's been one of the better players on this team, and I think moving forward, he's going to be the third option on this team behind James Harden and Joel Embiid. And he's really benefiting from James Harden. Him and James Harden could really coexist together. They're pretty much both great playmakers. And, James Harden being able to dish out 12 assists tonight really just helped out the team overall. And Tyrese Maxey was a beneficiary, scoring 28 points. So James Harden, 35 minutes, the most out of the starters, and scored 27 points, 8 rebounds, 12 assists on 7 of 12 from the field and 5 of 7 from 3. So James Harden in his debut with the 76ers was absolutely killer. Had a ton of step back threes, and I think he hit 2 4-point plays, which were absolutely vintage James Harden right there. I mean, honestly, looking at those plays, it kind of remind me of what Harden used to do back in Houston, and it looks like he's pretty much back. Not necessarily back to his old self, but pretty much doing what he wanted to do, like iso ball, a lot of his patent dribble moves, like the in-between, step backs, got all those dribble moves, and he's looking pretty comfortable in the system with Doc Rivers. So he scored 7 of 12, so pretty efficient night from James Harden, 5 of 7 from 3. If he can keep this up, then the Sixers are going to be great. He did dish out 12 assists and 8 rebounds, so he's pretty much doing the exact same thing that he was doing, in Brooklyn, being the facilitator. And overall, I mean, they really just needed someone like James Harden to really just create his own shot, being able to hold down on offense and just grab rebounds, and he did exactly that. Matisse Thybulle's next, played around 23 minutes and scored around 11 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. Matisse Thybulle really just benefited from James Harden and Tyrese Maxey today, like I said, with James Harden having that much gravity to his game. There were a lot of people open today. Matisse Thybulle was a beneficiary, scoring 11 points, 4 of 7 from the field, and 1 of 3 from 3. So I think Matisse Thybulle, he's not going to be a person to score, obviously, because he is more defensive oriented. But he did score 11 points today, so it's a great sign. He did also grab 7 rebounds and 3 steals, so pretty great defense overall. And finally, we had Tobias Harris, played around 30 minutes and scored around 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. Tobias Harris definitely had an off night, shooting around 2 of 9 from the field and 2 of 6 from 3. But, Tobias Harris, he's having an up and down season. He has been pretty great in the last 10 games, I want to say. He's averaging around 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists in the last 10 games. And honestly, he's someone that could really get you a bucket. And, on some nights he's going to be off, but when he's able to really just shoot the ball, he's able to just make it a high clip, Over the season, he's averaging around 48% from the field and 35% from 3. This Sixers team, if they can keep the starting 5 healthy, which it looks like it pretty much can, I think they're going to make a deep playoff push and maybe even make the conference finals, because I think they're that great, especially with going up against teams like the Bucks, who have Giannis, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, Brooklyn Nets, who have Ben Simmons, who hasn't even played yet, KD, who's still injured, Kyrie, who hasn't, been playing a lot of games. They also have a lot of just pretty much great teams, defensive teams, the Miami Heat, Chicago Bulls. They have a lot of these great teams in the East, and I think the 76ers can really just compete with them now that they have a shot creator in James Harden. So the bench, there isn't really too much to talk about for the bench because they pretty much all scored in single digits. That's the one real weakness to this Sixers team, is that their bench isn't really great. If we're looking at it right now, there's not a person I can see on this bench that can really just take over the game off the bench with the second unit. I mean, if they did have a six-man, it would be a little bit different, like a Patty Mills, but obviously they didn't get Patty Mills in the deal. They got Paul Millsap. So yeah, I mean, the Sixers tonight played some great defense. If we're looking at the Timberwolves side of things, I'll go over it pretty briefly. The Wolves, they were on and off today. Cat pretty much struggled from the field, 8 and 19, 2 and 6 from 3. D'Lo was definitely their best player, scoring 21 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists on 7 to 12 from the field, and 2 and 7 from 3. But I mean, overall, this Timberwolves team, they're definitely great, but I think they are a couple pieces behind to really just make a deep playoff push. For example, their bench is really just not great. They do got Jalen McDaniels, but that's pretty much the extent of their bench. They do need to get out and get at least a good point guard off the bench, because looking at it right now, McLaughlin and Jalen Noel, they're just not going to get it done. So if they can go out and get a bench player, a bench piece, maybe like, I'm not even saying Isaiah Thomas, but he pretty much could help this team to propel them into the playoffs. And same thing with the Sixers. If they can get a good point guard off the bench, then I think they would be a legitimate contender in the East, and even just a legitimate contender for the finals. So yeah, I mean, James Harden in his debut with the Sixers was absolutely amazing. Hopefully they keep up this high level of play. The Sixers are going to be a team to watch out for, and they're really just enjoyable to watch. So they do verse the New York Knicks on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday, February 27th against the Knicks. So I'll be watching that game. So if you like the video, drop a like down below, press the sub button. I'd appreciate it. And I'm out. Peace.